One of the most important people in AI just open sourced something that I think changes how we use AI in business, and I'm not being dramatic. Karpathy, the co-founder of OpenAI, former head of AI at Tesla, the guy who actually coined vibe coding, he is one of the most respected voices in AI research, period. And he just put out an open source project called Auto Research. It's already got over 42,000 stars on GitHub. Fortune wrote about it, Shopify's CEO, he used it overnight and got results that frankly caught a lot of people off guard. But most of the coverage out there, it is either aimed at machine learning engineers or just surface level hype. Now, nobody's really explaining what this actually means for someone who runs a business and uses AI every single day. And that is what this video is. I'm going to be explaining what auto research actually is. I'll also show you the actual repo on GitHub, and I'll walk through how the loop actually works with this diagram. And I'll be going through real use cases where people are already applying this. And then I'll show you guys a simple demo inside of Claude Code so you can see the pattern actually running for yourself, not just some fancy production setup. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Nick. I spent the last 2 years helping companies implement AI and driving real leverage inside of their businesses, driving over $5 million in bottom line revenue across our clients and helping hundreds of entrepreneurs all start their own successful AI business. Now, I say all of that to show you that this is what I do every single day. But anyways, let's get into it. So to actually explain auto research in plain English, when you want to improve something, whether that's a cold email, landing page, whatever, you do it by hand. So you write a version, you then test it, and then you look at the data and you could write a better version from that. You test and test again, over and over again. That's just optimization. We do all of it. The problem is with that, it's very slow. You run maybe 1 or 2 tests a week and you have to stay in the loop making every decision. Now, Karpathy's idea was, what if you just let an AI agent do that entire cycle on its own? Now the agent, it makes a change, it then tests it and checks if the metric actually went up or if it went down, and it keeps the change if it worked. If it didn't, it'll just throw it away and repeat all night long. There's no human needed, and that is what auto research is. It's just automated trial and error with a score that tells the agent if things are actually improving. That is the whole thing. So here's the repo. You can see the star count up here, and look what is actually inside, because people are often overcomplicating things, especially this. The whole thing, it is basically just 3 files that actually matter. So prepare.py, this is just a setup file. It's pretty simple. You run it once to download the data and then train a tokenizer. You can just forget about pretty much all of that after that. Now we back up, and down here we have train.py. This is about 630 lines, and this is the code that the agent actually is going to be editing. This is the thing being improved upon. And back up one more, we also have the program.md. This, all it is, it's just a markdown file with instructions for the agent. So it's basically a prompt that tells the agent how to actually run the experiments. So if we look at what is in here, it says, you can modify the code, you can run the chaining, and then you can check the results. Now, if the metric actually improved, you could keep the change and of course commit to it. Now, if it got worse or it was to a detriment, you could just revert that and you could try something else. And then this line, if you just scroll down even further, it says this: never stop, the human might be asleep. Like, that is the philosophy. You set it up, go to sleep, and it runs experiments until the morning. Now, Karpathy, he let this run for about 2 days on just a small language model, and the agent found around 20 improvements that all stacked on top of each other. Now, one of them, it was a bug in his own code, a missing scalar multiplier that was making the attention mechanism just too diffused. He had missed it himself for months, and the agent, it caught it overnight. But the thing that really made this blow up, it was Shopify. Now, Shopify CEO, Toby Lu, I'm probably completely butchering his name, but anyways, he ran auto research on Liquid. Now, if you're not familiar, Liquid is just Shopify's template engine. It's just a 20-year-old Ruby codebase that powers every Shopify store pretty much on the entire internet. He ran about 120 automated experiments over the course of about 2 days. Now, the result, he got 53% faster and 61% fewer memory allocations. Now, this is all on code that engineers have been previously optimizing for about 2 decades. He even acknowledged that it might be somewhat overfit, but it said that there were absolutely amazing ideas in the results. All right, now let me show you guys the loop visually. So with this, you start by reading whatever you are trying to improve. And then from there, you make one change, just one, that is important. And then you can just run a test and you can get a score from that. So you're asking yourself, like, did the score improve? Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, if yes, commit to the change and then log what happened and then loop back to the top. If not, you revert it, throw it away, try something different. And the reason that this actually works is not because the agent is actually smarter than you at any single decision. It's solely because it does not stop there. Over 50 runs, over 100 runs, even 500 runs, it will find the stuff that you just would not manually because you would get tired or distracted after about 10 or so, if that. Now, Karpathy, he built this for training any machine learning models, but the loop itself, the pattern, it works for anything when you have three specific things. One, something that you can actually change. Number two is a number that you can track. And three, some way to actually test it, usually through an API. That's quite literally it. So if you have gotten those three things, you can auto research it. And people, they're already doing this across a bunch of different areas. So you got cold email, where you can change the copy, you can track any reply rates, or if you're using the Instantly or Smart Lead API to deploy campaigns and pull any performance data. There are people reporting going from 2% reply rates up to 8 to 12% within a few weeks of just running this kind of loop. What the agent does, it just writes the challenger versions, it tests them against the baseline, and it would keep any of the winners. Another area, you can do this for landing pages, where you change the headline, you change the CTA, the layout, even you track any conversion rates, or you can just push changes through your site's builder's API, whether that's Webflow, Framer, whatever. The agent, it will deploy a variation, check the conversions, and then keep the winner, try and try again. Lastly, another use case is the ad creatives. So you can change the copy, you could change the image, you could change the audience, and you just track the click-through rate or the cost per acquisition. You can connect this to Meta Ads API or even Google Ads, whatever software or whatever third party you guys are using. And the agent, it would spin up variations, watch the number, kill the underperformers, and then you could double down and scale whatever's actually working. Another one, we have code performance. So you can change the actual code, you can track the execution time from that. And that is literally what Shopify CEO did on a code base that has been around for about 20 years, being optimized up until this point, completely manually. And the one that I am going to be demoing for you today is prompt optimization, where you can change the prompt itself, you track the accuracy against a test suite, and you don't even need an external API for this one. Claude Code, it will handle the whole thing for you. So now you could also do this with chatbot scripts, newsletter subject lines, voice agent prompts, pricing pages, the list, it just keeps going. Anything with a number and something to change. Now, one thing that I do want to be straight about is this works best when the feedback is actually fast. So if you can run a test in about 30 seconds, you could do 100 experiments overnight. But if each test is going to take about a week to get real meaningful data, the loop is going to be a lot slower. Still, it would work, just not overnight results. So just think about what your business gives you data fastest and then start there. All right, so I want to show you guys the simplest possible demo of this. I'm not going to overcomplicate this, no fancy infrastructure, no cloud GPUs, no crazy setup. I just want you to see the loop working so you can actually understand how it actually feels to run this thing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be taking a mediocre prompt, one that actually extracts data from any customer emails. It's going to start off getting maybe half of the answers right. Then I'm going to let Claude Code just run the auto research loop on it, and we're going to watch the accuracy just climb in real time. So it's the same exact pattern that Karpathy used. It's just going to be applied to a prompt instead of a machine learning model. Now you're going to need about two different things for this, either an IDE, so I am using Cursor to use Claude Code, and of course you will need Claude Code itself. That's it, you don't need a GPU. Let's get into it. All right, now the first thing I'm going to do is just clone Karpathy's auto research repo from GitHub that I was showing you earlier, so that Claude Code, it will have the full context of how the pattern is actually going to be working. So it can read the program.md file I showed off, the train.py, and understand the entire setup. So I'm just going to type out clone this repo in the current directory, and then I have to provide it with a GitHub link. We'll run that and see what we get. All right, there it is. Only took a few seconds. So you can see all the files in the sidebar here. We got the prepare py, the train py, program.md, all the stuff that we had just talked about. But we're not going to run any of this directly. We're just going to use it as a reference when we actually build our own version. Now we're going to paste in something else from there. What I'm going to say is read the program.md, train the py from the auto research repo we just cloned to understand Karpathy's experiment loop pattern. And now I want to apply this exact same pattern, but instead of optimizing the train py for validation loss, I want to optimize the data extraction prompt for accuracy. So I'm giving it some specific instructions to create folders. So program.md, this is going to be for instructions for you, the agent. and to run autonomous loop, then read the prompt and evaluate or run the eval pi. Then check the score, make one small change to the prompt, rerun the eval, keep that if it improved, or git reset if worse and log the result, repeat forever until 15 or 15 or it's interrupted. Number 2, the prompt.md. So this is just a deliberately mediocre starter prompt that tells an LLM to extract any of the JSON fields like the name, the email, service type, so on and so forth from customer in-core emails, and then the eval pi. So this is a Python script that loads prompt.md as the system prompt, and then it runs it against 15 test cases using the Anthropic API, compares outputs to expected JSON, and prints a score like score 8 out of 15. Now also include tricky cases like budget ranges with written as words, ambiguous service types, informal names, and multiple services requested. For the rest of them, I'm just giving a little bit of context about everything else, like the test cases, the experiment log, and the README, and to make the test cases realistic and also varied. Some easy, some deliberately tricky, so the initial prompt scores run about 7 and 9 out of 15. Now, why I'm actually doing this is I just have to provide a context about our specific use cases and how we actually want to be utilizing auto research for our projects. So with that, I just need Claude Code to just understand Karpathy's repo, understand how the pattern works, and then build us a custom version for the prompt optimization. So you can see right now it's first going to create the prompt optimizer, and then in a second, it should just be reading through the files, getting all of the context, and then setting up our prompt optimizer folder and creating the eval script, the test cases, the starter prompt, the whole thing. Cool, so this just finished running. We can open up this at the top. We have the prompt optimizer. This is consisting of the eval, the experiment log, the program, prompt, the README, and the test cases of the JSON as well. Let's walk through each one. First up, let's go through the program.md file. Let me expand this a little bit, but what's going on here, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be our starter prompt. So it is deliberately basic. So it just says to extract these fields, return the JSON. There's no edge case handling. It doesn't know what to do when somebody writes 10 to 12,000 instead of a number. It also does not handle saying like, I don't know what I need. That is by design. Now we want it to be very mediocre so we can actually watch it get better in real time. We can now open up our test cases JSON, and with this is going to be our 15 test emails. But if we look at this one, the second one, the budget is written out as words. So this one, the person doesn't know what service they actually want. And then this one, if we scroll down a little bit further, they are just reaching out on behalf of another person. And these I would expect are going to trip up the basic prompt. Let me just cover the program file and expand this a little bit. So this just tells the agent how to actually loop. So again, it is the same idea as Karpathy's. You run the eval, you check the score, make one change, and then you test again, and you can keep or revert, and then log everything, and it's not gonna stop from there. Now the next piece, this is going to be the actual installation, and the first thing that we want to paste out is to run these commands, and that is to install Anthropic. So I'll run that first. So that just finished installing. It'll only take a second, and now we are going to run export and just insert our API key that we are getting from Anthropic. So if you don't know where to find that, just search up Anthropic API key on Google. You'll be able to log into your account. You may need about $5 at least for testing to start utilizing this. Now that we've got that in there, it says API key is set. We're gonna ignore what it's asking for us to do. And we're going to say run CD prompt optimizer and everything else from there. By the way, if you guys wanna get access to these entire commands, you can find this inside of my free school community. We've got about 18,000 members in there. It's all just a bunch of agency owners, entrepreneurs, business owners looking to start and grow their businesses. Just a great place to meet and connect with others and learn strategies and ask for help. Great, so now that we got that in there, we are going to put in one last thing, and that is the prompt optimizer, and now to run the eval pi. So we'll see this. We will be able to see each test case just being graded one by one with the pass or fail, and we'll go ahead and proceed with the request that it's asking for and the permissions. All right, moment of truth. Here's what we got on our starting prompt score of these 15 emails. So right away, we got a baseline score of about 7 out of 15, and it presents the main failure patterns. So we have has existing website returning null instead of inferring from context tests, and the name extracting issue, so including titles like doctor, missing last names from informal emails, the budget range handling, so averaging instead of taking lower bound, rounding up, the urgency inference, so end of month not being flagged as high, and the company name punctuation, it's often missing trailing periods. So it mentions this is a good starting point for the optimization loop, and it asks if we want to read the program.md that we have provided it. Once again, that is this file right here. just the instructions and to start the autonomous optimization. Now, instead of just complying, we're just going to go ahead and say, read the program.md and begin the autonomous optimization loop. Do not stop until you hit 15 or I interrupt you. So we'll run that off, and it is now going to start the loop. And from this point on, it is going to be completely autonomous. I'm just going to be watching this. So what's actually going on in the back end, it's going to read the prompt, run all of the evals, analyze the failures, and then form its hypothesis, edit the prompts.md, run the evals again, and then it'll just keep comparing the scores over and over again. So whilst this is actually running, I'm going to be opening up the experiment log file and see what is going to be popping up as this is running in the back end. So right here, we have experiment 1 that's just finished up. It's now working on experiment 2. So with this, every run is being tracked. So the hypothesis, the score before and after, whether it kept it or reverted it. Now, even if you or I stopped the loop right now, the log, it is really pure gold. Like, it is a record of what works and what does not work for this specific task. So every now and then I do have to provide it with permissions, but anyways, you can see here with experiment 1. So here's the change. It clarified it has an existing website, must always be true or false, never null. Then we have the hypothesis, like most failures were from existing website, returning null. The score, this is getting a little bit better. Now it's 10 out of 15. Previously, it was 3 points lower. The status, keep this, and then the failures, test 2. So the name was missing, which was the last name. And we'll now run on to experiment 2. That should be popping up soon as well. Now, experiment 2, this just populated. So ultimately, we got a score of 12 out of 15. So hopefully next time it'll be 15 out of 15 and it'll just keep improving on itself. Next up, we got experiment 4. So this came out to be about 14 out of 15. So once again, it's providing us with all of the changes, the scores, the status, the failures, and I believe we just saw somewhere around here that it was 15 out of 15. But we'll see in experiment 5 coming up. Awesome. Now that's completely finished. We can see down here, experiment 5, this is now 15 out of 15. And you guys can see I am on the Claude Council. This entire thing, it only costed 24 cents. And now we have a great point and great positioning to move forward and optimize and iterate. So we're going to be getting better results within our emails, thus ultimately going to get us better results and more clients. Now that in itself, that was a very simple demo, only about 15 test cases with 1 prompt. But the pattern, it is going to be the same whether you're optimizing a prompt, optimizing a cold email, a landing page, a piece of code, optimizing, a YouTube thumbnail, which by the way, I'm using right now and having my team deploy. So we're testing which thumbnails work, which ones do not. I'll keep you guys posted on what we actually come back with, but the loop is the loop. But with all of that being said, like what Karpathy put out, it is not just a simple repo. This is actually a pattern, and that pattern, it is dead simple. You take something that you want to improve, you define a score, you let an AI agent iterate on it in a tight loop, and the reason this matters for people like us is that this is how the best companies are actually going to be operating. Like your competitor who runs 30 tests on their landing page per year, you run 30 per day because you've got a loop running in the background. Who has the better landing page by December? It's not even gonna be close. Now, let me be real about a few things. You do need a fast feedback for this to work well. So if it takes a week to get data from a test, the loop is slow. You need an actual number to optimize for, not just vibes, like not does this feel better or anything like that. You also, again, need a score. So whether that's pass or fail, percentage, response time, reply rate, something that you can count. And you also need some way for the agent to actually make changes and test them through an API, a file, a CLI, something. Now the agent, it also is not replacing your judgment on big picture strategy. So it's not going to tell you which market to go after, but for execution, like the copy, the targeting, the prompt engineering, the little optimizations that compound over time, it is completely unbeatable. Now, I only covered just about 1 use case, but as you guys saw, you can use this for so many different things and go deeper on Claude Code and understand how to build stuff like this. And if you want to be around other people who are actually building with AI every single day, we've got a free school community with over 18,000 members, as I mentioned earlier. You could check that out, or our weekly AI newsletter giving you practical strategies every single week to growing or starting your business. Or of course, if you're looking for us to actually come in and implement or train your team to become AI native and automate all your processes, then you can schedule in a free audit with our team down below, links in the description. I will also be linking the auto research repo and the prompt optimizer demo in the description so you can clone it and try this yourself. Now, if you guys got value from this, hit the subscribe. It really does make a difference on YouTube, and I'll keep making these and keep you guys updated. I'll see you in the next video.